A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News live on News First. I'm Mahina Bongzo. Here's a look at your headlines for tonight.
Adverse weather affects over 100,000 people in 18 districts, over 40,000 in relief camps. Met Department forecasts heavy showers will continue tomorrow as well. 16 SLFP defectors call on the former president. Questions raised in Parliament regarding a consultant to the Finance Ministry.
Well, as you just saw on your screen just moments ago, those were footage from across the country which has caused by the adverse weather conditions over the past couple of days, impacting several people across the country. To be exact, 105,352 people have been affected across the country, across 18 districts. Now, let's talk about what has actually caused the situation. Now, generally during this time of the year, Sri Lanka experiences southwestern monsoons. But what's different here is, if you look at the map over here, what's different here is the southwest monsoons hits Sri Lanka from this time, from this direction of the country, generally starting on the 25th of this month, 25th of May, all the way up to September. But what's different here is that if you see this cloudy area here towards the northeast of the country, there appears to be a certain atmospheric disturbance. And if you look at this weather side, it makes it quite clear. This area is Sri Lanka here, and the cloudy condition seems to be developing in the northeastern part of the country towards the Bay of Bengal. Now, as I mentioned before, 105,352 people have been affected by the adverse weather conditions which affected the country over the past couple of days. And in its latest situation report, the Disaster Management Center says that 11 deaths have been reported in the country so far, and that 40,491 people who are displaced have been provided shelter at 220 camps. Now, the Disaster Management Center also informed the public in risk areas of the Kalutara and Ratnapura districts to evacuate to safer locations as the water levels of the Kaluganga are rising. Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Center, Pradeep Kodipalli, did say the warning is in effect for the areas of Kalutara, Maduravala, Dodangoda, Horana, Palindanura, Bulat Sinhala, Ingiriya, Millenia, Kiriyalla, Kuruvita and Alapata. That warning, once again issued by the Disaster Management Center, is that the DAMC has informed the public in risk areas of the Kalutara and Ratnapura districts to evacuate to safer locations as the water levels of the Kaluganga are rising. In its advisory, the Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Center, Pradeep Kodipalli, said the warning is in effect for the areas of Kalutara, Maduravala, Dodangoda, Horana, Palindanura, Bulat Sinhala, Ingiriya, Millenia, Kiriyalla, Kuruvita and Alapata. Just once again an update, over 105,000 people in the country have been affected by the inclement weather across 18 districts, displacing 40,491 people and causing 11 deaths. Now, today, during the course of the day, News First visited a number of welfare camps to inquire into the situation at those camps at the moment.
15 families from Paragoda in Bulat Sinhala were displaced after the Kukuleganga overflowed.
ඉස්සත්තරියන් ළමයි ඉන්නවා ඒ ලෙවල් කරන ළමයි ඉන්නවා සාමාන්‍ය පෙළ කරන ළමයි ඉන්නවා ඒගොල්ලන්ට පාඩම් කරන්නවත් හැටියක් නැහැ ඉටමන්දන් වලින් ඒ ළමයි පාඩම් කරන්න
දාගන්න තැන් නැහැ කන්න බොන්න යන්න විදියක් නැහැ වතුර නැහැ ආධාර අරගෙන මෙහෙට කාටවත් එන්න විදියක් නැහැ
නලදින්ඩක් හරි තනා දෙන්න මෙයාගේ අවස්ථාවකදී පිටු බොහොම අබලන් වෙලා මේ වෙලා තියෙන තාම හදලා ඉවර වෙලා නැහැ. අවසරකට එකපාරක් වගේ තමයි කෑම ආහාරය කෑම ගන්නෙ. අපිට කොහොම හරි අපිට තැනකින් ගියත් හදා ගන්න ඉඩමක් දෙනවා නම් ඒක ලොකු දෙයක්.
80 families from Godigamuwa Ratnapura who were displaced after the Kalu river overflowed from Ratnapura are currently being cared for at the Godigamuwa mosque. 105 families were evacuated as there is a risk of a landslide in the Lellis land estate in Ramboda. They are currently being sheltered in the Ramboda Hindu Vidyalaya. One 100 families from Nadigama have been displaced after the Kalani river overflowed from that area. These people are receiving shelter at the welfare camp set up at the Veluwanarama temple in Navalapitiya. 15 families displaced following a landslide in Soisagala, Navalapitiya are currently being sheltered at the Navalapitiya Urban Council Hall.
$40,491 people who have been displaced have been placed at 220 camps across 18 districts, where over 105,352 people have been affected and 11 deaths have been reported. Now, the disaster management did inform the public at high-risk areas of the Kaluthara and Ratnapura districts to evacuate to safer locations as the water levels of the Kaluganga are rising. Now, several areas in the island continue to experience rains as we speak, and the Department of Meteorology, issuing its forecast, said 100mm rains are expected across the country tomorrow as well. Now, the incessant rains over the past few days, as I mentioned before, have caused floods in several parts of the country, wreaking havoc in many rural areas.
The water levels of the Kalani River increased, causing several low-lying areas to flood. Wattala and Paliagod areas were inundated today. The Mabola and Kerolapiti areas in Wattala were also flooded. The Vallavatta area in Vallampitiya, Kalani Nadi village, Sedavatta and Gotami Mavata areas were flooded. A Newsfirst team toured the area to inspect the situation.
Now I am in the Vallampitiya, Velegama Vallampitiya area. Now this particular road that you see here is running for like 3 kilometers. Now this whole road is underwater. The water level is nearly knee height. The residents of this area, seldom people are remaining. Most of the people are evacuating from this area because they don't have clean drinking water and food for consumption.
The Kadavata interchange of the Colombo Outer Circular Highway was inundated today. This was the situation close to the Kadwala Biagama main bridge. The Nilvala river overflowed from the Kaddu area in Matara, causing the Kadduwa, Panadugama and Balakavala areas to flood. The Randavi Bandi Alla, which flows to the Tabbo reservoir, broke its banks from 2 locations today. The water overflowed into the Devalakanda River, which is also at the brink of bunds breaking away. Farmers in the area took measures to prevent the bund from breaking away. According to our correspondent, the water levels of the Ginganga has reached flood level. The Baddegama Nagara Road, Baddegama Agalia Road, Baddegama Dodangara Road and several other roads were underwater today as well. The Malbana Dompe Road was flooded as a result of the Kalani River overflowing.
Now, the Department of Meteorology issued its weather forecast for the next 24 hours, saying heavy rains are expected tomorrow as well. Now, the department did say that over 100 millimeters of rain was experienced across the country today as well.
බස්නාහිර සබරගමුව වයඹ ඒ වගේ මධ්‍යම පළාතවලත් අපිට දවසේ ඕන වෙලාවක වැසි ඇති වෙනවා.
Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, southern, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces. Heavy falls of about 100 millimeters can be expected at some places. Fairly heavy falls of about 75 millimeters can be expected in some places in Jaffna, Vaunia and Mullaitivu districts. The sea area extending from Mana to Pothiwil via Putlam, Colombo and Hambantota can be rough at times, as the wind speed can increase up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour at times. This situation will prevail until the 25th and 26th.
වැසි තත්ත්වය යම් කිසි අඩුවක් පෙන්නුම් කරයි.
නමුත් කළුගඟ ගැන බැලුවොතින් ආපහු කළුගඟේ ජල මට්ටම ඉහළ යෑමක්.
There's a rise in the water level of the Kalu River and it is classified as a minor flood situation. Ratnapura experienced a rainfall of 100 millimeters. There is a risk of the water level in the Kallu River rising. There is a minor flood situation in the Nilvala River in the Akuressa area. There is a rise in water levels of the Attanagalu Oya once again from the Dunumale area. As there is a rise in water levels of the Kallu River, the Department of Irrigation requests the general public to be very cautious tonight. At present, the spill gates of the Rajanganaya, Dadru Oya and Murutuvela reservoirs have been opened, but it will not cause any serious flood situation.
We issued warnings to the divisional secretariats that are at high risk. Grid alerts were issued to the Ratnapura, Alapata, Ahaliyagoda divisional secretariats in the Ratnapura district, the Bulat Kohupitiya, Dehiyovita, Dariniyagala, Ruwanwella, Aranayaka and Maunala divisional secretariats in the Kegol district, the Oyagamua, Kotmale and Norelia divisional secretariats in the Norelia district, the Agalavatta, Palindanura, Bulat Sinhala, Ingiriya and Walallavita areas in the Kalutara district, as well as the Alpitiya, Kadawat Satara, Nagoda, Nelua and Tawalama areas in the Gaul district.
Now, as forecast by the Department of Meteorology, rains are expected throughout the day tomorrow as well. While the Disaster Management Center says 105,352 people have been affected across 18 districts in the country caused by the adverse weather experienced over the past couple of days. 40,491 people have been displaced. 11 deaths have been reported. Now, it is at times like these that all of Sri Lanka should come together. And just a couple of days ago, a moment after we heard the distress calls by people being affected by the adverse weather, the Siratha Shakti Sahana Yatra was immediately launched to provide relief to those affected. I believe Chaturanga is at one of these collection points to collect relief items being provided by the people to be dispatched to those affected. Chaturanga, what do you have for us, Chaturanga?
Good evening to you, Shaheen. Good evening to our viewers. We are at one collection point of the Siratha Shakti Sahana Yatra. Now, there were several two more such collection points set up at the Department Studio Complex as well as the Stein Studio Complex in Ratmalana. So before we tell you the situation here and how much of selfless people have come forward to help our brothers and sisters who are affected by the adverse weather, let's quickly see what has happened at the other two locations as well in terms of the Siratha Shakti Sahana Yatra.
The collection of relief items for the Siratha Shakti Sahana Yatra began on the night of the 21st. Just moments after its announcement, the humanity of our people, at times a fellow Sri Lankan is in distress, was felt yet again. The relief items are being collected at 3 locations. One collection point has been set up at the head office of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited in Braybrook Place, Colombo 2.
We face a situation like this as well. Many are suffering. They've abandoned their homes along with their children. It is at these times that we should help.
This is what we have to do as people at times of disaster. I know Sivasa will always be there. I extend my gratitude and respect to Sivasa.
Relief items are also being collected at the Stein Studio Complex in Ratmalana.
It brings a tear to my eyes seeing what the people are going through. No matter what they had, they've fallen to a state of despair today. Thank you very much for what you are doing here.
As humans, we have a responsibility. This is nothing like what the politicians in the country would do.
People from various walks of life dropped off their donations at the Department Studio Complex as well.
There's a
I saw the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra and dropped off 70 kilograms of rice.
The people from the office got together and made this contribution. It is the responsibility of the people in this country to help out those in need.
Items such as rice, dal, sugar, tea, noodles, canned fish, biscuits, water and sanitary items could be dropped off at the collection centres. Relief items will be collected until tomorrow morning at the head office of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited in Braybrooks Place, Colombo 2, Stein Studio Complex in Rotmalana and the Depanamo Studio Complex. Our hotline 0114 896 896 is open for further inquiries.
Now you saw the situation across all of these places during the day and how people came in with their donations to be given to the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra program. As of right now, I am standing by at the head office of the MTV MBC Networks Private Limited here in Union Place, and a lot of people have got together here to sort and pack the Sahanayatra donations that we received from the general public. This is happening right now. And we are joining you live to see the dedication of these people and also the contributions made by you watching us from home. It is not too late. We'll be collecting donations for tonight as well. We are planning on departing to the affected areas tomorrow. Now, we are, as mentioned earlier, we are collecting several dry rations to be given to the general public. On a normal day, one of these bags would contain milk powder, dal, noodles, so on and so forth. But today, this bag is filled with a lot of affection by the people of our country to the others who are in these affected areas. That is all I have for you from the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra program happening here in the premises of the Union Place head office of MTV MBC Networks.
In more local news, Southern Province Education Minister Chandima Rasaputra says authorities are yet to decide on when to reopen the preschools and primary schools that were closed due to the spread of the virus flu. The epidemiology unit says the number of virus flu patients reported from the southern province had dropped.
8 children have died so far from the virus flu that is spreading across the southern province. Thereafter, the Southern Provincial Council decided to close down all preschools and primary schools across the entire province. Director of the Epidemiology Unit, Dr. Anil Disanayake said a special program is in place to prevent the illness that was first reported from the southern province from spreading to the other areas. Reports have now revealed a similar virus flu is spreading across a number of countries. Our inquiries exposed a shocking revelation, which is the airport does not possess any technology to screen passengers for diseases on arrival. This was confirmed by the medical service at the airport and the epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health. Facilities have been provided to all locations where one can enter the country. There is a medical unit and a treatment unit as well as a quarantine unit. We see this situation every year. This flu situation is reported twice a year and this time it has become worse. This is not a disease that has come here from another country. This is a normal virus flu in the country and no one needs to panic. Dr. Anil Disanayake claims such fever conditions can be experienced whenever there is a rainy season and the situation changes based on the immunization or resistance to an infectious disease on every single individual. He went on to say a person who comes under the viral flu will completely recover within 72 hours. He, however, stressed 4 categories in society must be under watch when they fall ill, and they are small children, pregnant mothers, elders above the age of 65, and people with long-term illnesses. Many factions allege the health sector is slow in controlling the spread of this virus flu. It is said the government and the health service can face this situation, but they cannot. The health ministry is facing a crisis situation at present. That is why the chief epidemiologist resigned, and it was due to the pressure from the minister and the ministry. An administrator was appointed as chief. So when such a person is appointed to this division, how can they face this situation? The 26 regional specialists have written to the health minister stating they cannot work with this person. So think about it. How can the Ministry of Health face this epidemic in such a situation?
Parliamentarian Anura Kumara Disanayake raised a question on the depositors at ETI Finance during today's parliamentary session.
Sri Lanka prakata moolla ayatana kanna ETI.
I wish to draw attention to the issues faced by those who deposited money at a well-known financial institution known as ETI Finance. There are two institutions and a sum of 36 billion rupees from 35,036 depositors was placed as deposits here. What measures has the central bank taken to secure those depositors? What measures have been taken to pay back the depositors? Has the decision been reached to sell the asset of this institution? We have been told the assets have already been sold. Who is the investor who will purchase ETI Finance?
A bid of $75 million was made to purchase the assets. This was approved by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The Monetary Board has decided to repay 10% to the depositors as an initial step, and when the remaining $43 million come in, another 10% will be paid. ETI Finance will be purchased by Blue Summit Capital Management Private Limited, which is a listed company in Singapore.
Blue Summit Capital Management PTE Limited
If we take a look at your plan, right now there is $75 million. We get around 100 billion rupees from that. But there is a need for another 260 billion rupees.
I
cannot guarantee that around 65 to 70% will be given. There is a shortfall of 30 to 35%. The general view is, since there are private firms, there is no need to pay the money due to the other citizens.
Mano Tittawella is serving as a consultant to the Ministry of Finance. Do you accept he was the chief operator at this particular institution before it went bankrupt?
Yes, he was there.
What was the basis used to appoint a person who made a company go bankrupt as consultant to the Ministry of Finance?
Back then, there were allegations against the former governor of the central bank, Ajit Niwad Cabral. We put forward those allegations, yet the former president appointed him to that post. Let's inquire into this without slinging mud at anyone.
Can you reveal the names of the directors in the Singapore-based company?
Yes. Honorable Speaker, the ministers in the former government have telecast advertisements. I am responding to MP Dayasiri Jayasekara, Uma Siraj Kondial and Rodrigo Don Cyril.
The government has sold it to a Lanka Mobile, which financed the LTTE.
There is a debate. We cannot speak about that now.
Reports have come to light that communities from the Levela estate in Bulat Kopitiya in Kegol have been residing in temporary makeshift structures for the past 3 years.
On the 20th of December 2014, 35 people from 7 families were evacuated from their homes due to the threat of landslides. Although these families were promised houses in 3 months, they continue to reside in these makeshift houses. The inclement weather has worsened their plight. People from Digambaram's ministry came here and said that houses will be provided, but they never cited this place thereafter. If they do come here, we will thrash them. We don't need any politicians. We have been dumped in this pile of roofing sheets.
An event was held today to grant housing loans to the beneficiaries in the Kegol district under the Samata Sevena National Housing Programme. The event was held at the Kegol Town Hall under the patronage of the Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajid Premadasa.
Loans worth 62.5 million rupees was granted to 700 families.
There is a disaster situation as a result of the floods. When there is a disaster, the houses that get destroyed are not constructed by my ministry. That is done by the Ministry of Disaster Management. If I had the responsibility, the people who were displaced from Aranayaka will not have to spend months in camps. There is a separate minister to do all of that. There is a separate minister for the north and the east. There is a separate minister to construct houses for the upcountry regions. The fisheries minister has been given the responsibility to construct houses for the fisher folk. The Minister of Megapolis has been vested with the responsibility of constructing houses in Colombo. There are 5 ministries. Mine is the 6th. I carry out the program to construct houses in the rural areas as well as middle income state and private sector projects. My ministry is one of the 6, and through that I construct houses across the island. By the end of 2017, I thought of constructing 2,500 Udagammana projects for the people who voted for us in 2015. This will be done by the 31st of December 2019. We will be able to walk on the streets without shame if we do this.
Minister Harin Fernando, speaking at an event in Colombo, expressed the following views.
Though people panic wondering why we have become silent, the United National Party will carry forward a new program. All of us, including Sajith Premadasa, will work together. We will show a new change to the people. If not, it will be difficult for the United National Party to move ahead. Ranil Wickramasinghe is almost 70 years old. I don't think he will contest again like Mahathir Mohamad when he becomes 92 in 20 years. I pray that does not happen.
Well, that's a wrap from all of us here at the News First desk. Before we go, just a reminder that News First is, of course, fully monitoring the inclement weather situation that is currently being experienced across the country. If you want to know more, do log on to our website. That's www.newsfirst.lk, and our social media handles. That's on Facebook and on Twitter. A heartfelt gratitude and thanks to all those who dropped in to give their whatever they had to the Sirisa Shakti Sahanayatra. Your goods will be dispatched to those affected across the country. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mahina Bongzo. Good night.